Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast with Debaere and Willem Himpe. I always love it saying that one sentence. Luigi, how are you doing? Again, not at home, I see.
I'm not. I'm in Lake Como, more specifically.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not gonna give away where I am. Maybe I will. Ilario, smaller town. Enjoying that lifestyle you can only find in Europe. The dolce far niente.
Dolce.
Voilà,
Perfect.
voilà.
Some quality time with the fams definitely needed now that we kind of everything in Europe is or in any company is kind of quiet down. I don't know how it is in America, but here in Europe, often the months, let's say, is starting from the second week of July until the third week of August. A lot of companies kind of on a standstill. So, but
Yeah,
that's
Sweden
why we Europe.
famously. Yeah.
Sweden is famously for what?
Well, they take off the whole month of July usually.
Okay, well, and I don't know, actually in America, do you know how it's exactly, if it ever stands still? Probably less
Oh,
in
people take
comparison to Europe.
a 2-week vacation every 3 years if they're allowed to take one.
It's true. It's kind of when I show my contract to my American friends where you have like 30 paid days off, they're like, what kind of socialist country do you live in?
Totally.
Okay, except on some tech companies that do a lot better in America, but okay. But this episode is not about our holiday plans. Something pretty big got released this week was GPT-5 from the one and only Sam Altman from OpenAI and his whole team. So, Louis, I know you've been on holiday, but knowing you, you probably tested it
That's right.
the second it came out. Tell me, how has it been
Exactly.
for you?
This was a highly anticipated release because
Mhm.
the original version that we call ChatGPT was version 3.5. Now we got 4 as a big upgrade, and now we have, putting aside the fact that it's a reasoning model too, we have their next big iteration, and the response has been mixed. Some people are really missing the old model because what OpenAI did is they replaced everyone's model with GPT-5. So free users, the small one, pro users, they all get a different version of GPT-5. However, that
Mhm.
it's only one model now, so no more confusing names. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so I think as maybe you've gotten some reviews a bit biased because I've had actually people really liking it that they now some people didn't even know there were so many models and other people like was always questioning which model do I have to use for what. So and now it feels like it's logical that the GPT-5 or OpenAI is better capable of saying this type of question needs to be used for this type of model to perform best in either speed or accuracy and so on. And other things as well I've heard and experienced myself. The one big thing of hallucinations has been improved, but it's still sometimes there.
Have you noticed that? Because I came across a pretty big one, and I was like,
Hmm.
careful what you promise. OpenAI said in their keynote that they optimized the model not to hallucinate anymore, to hallucinate way less. And then I had the most egregious, crazy, wrong information come at me in one of my first 10 questions. It literally told me to ask for an espresso in a
Hmm.
that's it in a cold mug, and
Okay.
there's no reason to ask for that. And I asked the model, why did you tell me this? And it corrected itself and said that was wrong. That was wrong information. So I don't know where
Okay.
it
Okay.
completely made that up.
People still need to, let's say, not like if no hallucinations happening anymore, then maybe there'll be a day where we can completely blindly trust the models, but we're not there yet.
But it was
We
strange. It
still
didn't
have
even
to.
feel like a hallucination. It felt like a bug. Like maybe it's just bad luck on
Mhm.
my side, from my side. But
Yeah.
yeah, interesting results.
Maybe some hot take I as well found because I've never really coded with
Hmm.
I've coded with Cursor, which is the code editor with GPT-4 models. But now actually it was quite amazing to see make me a little application and immediately run the code within ChatGPT because I feel like OpenAI is really trying to push for these companies like Lovable. Was there another one? 88, I think, or something, that it really from prompt to full application. And I tested it with some small like say Relivo for my startup,
Mhm.
a feature I wanted to build, but just make it in a little standalone app. And it was literally instantly it worked. So it was
Wow.
quite powerful. And it was even something that I was not sure how to code, because it was like with a zoom feature with the same what Apple has. When you zoom
Mhm.
in, then the grid like very fluidly becomes bigger, and then when you zoom out it fluidly, the grid becomes bigger. So towards 10 by 10 or more a grid. So I was impressed. Let's say to say the least. Have you
And
had
you
as
didn't
well
have to
some
make
coding?
any adjustments. Like you didn't have to correct anything.
No, I could of course start vibe coding and kind of constantly iterate over it, but it was just for me a little test of how good is it with coding. It's practically from the first still a bit fake prompt, it got it right away. So I'm really thinking that kind of the ID guy that we spoke about the
Mhm.
last episode, that he is kind of the winner in this, let's say, decennia. That really Sam Altman as well said, it's like we really believe in software being generated on the fly and really custom for every solution. And it makes me a bit scared, but it makes me as well a bit excited, let's say, at the same time. I don't know how you feel about it.
I'm yeah, it's clear that the models are still evolving, so that if there are limitations and walls that we hit today, maybe down the road in a year or two, we literally won't have to ever correct the model, or like we will instantly see our results when we want an app or a new screen or whatever. But
Mhm.
I do also fall a little bit for the, I don't know, I was hyped for the model and I was not so impressed, and neither was Elon Musk. Actually, he pointed out that his model Grok is still better according to certain benchmarks, and he's
It has
already
to be
hyping up.
unbiased benchmarks.
Well, no, actual rankings. OpenAI is clearly is always in the top five, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't win. And
So it
yeah, he's
does, yeah.
already hyping up his next model, Grok 5, and so I'm also excited for that. So I don't know where I'm gonna spend the most money as like a pro user though. Like you can only pay for one expensive tier, and I didn't go for the pro this time or just yet.
The pro of Grok, you mean, or from OpenAI?
Neither at the moment, but I'm intrigued
Mm.
by Grok Heavy, is what they call it, Super Grok.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I'm actually the opposite. I'm intrigued by the full pro subscription of OpenAI, because they're okay, you have to pay 200 euro, but now as well with connections to email, to calendar, a lot of other stuff that are in there. Plus as well, it's being kind of my little ecosystem who's in there with all my different custom GPTs, which you cannot kind of convert to another environment like Grok. So that kind of entices me to say 200 euro, which is one small customer of my startup. That is perfectly understandable to expense it. And I don't think it will be a 10x from from pro to what's it called, the full one. I forgot the name.
OpenAI
Yeah,
Pro, so they have Plus, which is
plus that's it. Yeah.
20 a month, and Pro is 200.
Yeah, so I have plus now, so I don't think going to pro will give crazy productivity growth, but it will be like a 2x, I feel like. Maybe a 3x, just because it's so well connected with all the other tools I'm using. Only thing
Mm.
I'm all questioning if it's really being able to do actions in those tools, if I would trust it, because you don't want the hallucinating email being sent to one of your most important customers, let's say. So that's kind of the next frontier, where when are we gonna dare to let them go wild? If we say, find me 50 customers and send them a perfect DM, basically with my offering, and let's see what happens. That's kind of
Yeah,
still where we're not there. We're not there yet.
yeah, exactly. About trusting the output. I had the same feeling talking about vibe coding. The moment is not there yet where we don't inspect the result of the model. We still look at the difference, the diff, in green, what the additions, and in red, the deletions. And yeah, I think if you want to truly vibe code successfully, you're not even looking at code result anymore. You're simply giving instructions, can be to a command line, and then you're given an output, an app, a result to run, but you never see the intermediate code, even if it's human readable. Just like when you compile a program, you don't see the machine code instructions, the assembly. Before high level programming was invented, the programming that we know, people would write these very tedious machine code instructions that truly looked like a robot, like a robotic language. And yeah, that's gone. We don't even optimize for that anymore. And I think, yeah, true vibe coding will be when you can just blindly trust whatever it generates, that you don't feel the need to look. You don't even know where to look.
And what do you think is based of your assumption when this will be fully? Do you have kind of in your mind a period where you think this will happen based on the growth and the speed that they've been going on?
It won't happen everywhere. If you do a read-only operation, and that could be researching something, doing a deep research, that you already trust the model to independently go fetch something for 20 minutes. Like, compare these hotels, nothing can go wrong. But when it comes to sending an email, writing something, there you have to be more careful. We said writing UI is already very feels a lot like vibe coding already. I think you could see those things pretty soon, where we verify a few things. We have a list of things, maybe a second AI that verifies, is my UI, is the text, is the font according to the style, is it accessible, meaning can blind or deaf people use it, and check all the boxes. And then we don't even bother looking at the code for UI, because yeah, not much can go wrong. But then when it comes to business logic, like taking payments, maybe maybe we'd want to verify that and manually code it.
Yeah. The one thing I'm still thinking is of these agents and agents to verify and to control what other kind of agents are doing, which basically an agent is just a model doing a certain task where it's specifically good at. But when you write code, what happens is you cannot predict all the different cases where users will use it, where things often happen, where a unique behavior suddenly creates something new. And the question is, if an agent today is as smart as a human, or even smarter, will he be able to predict a lot more of these, let's say, weird behaviors that we human do with the software, or not? If it will be better, then of course, then these agents are a lot better programmers than us, because it can predict, let's say, a lot more ways how the software can be used in a wrong way, or in a unique way.
I
That's
think
kind
it
of
will have to. My thing is always dogfooding. It will have to use the software in order to understand it. Just like we still do manual testing today, even if I'm not a customer of a hospital, even if I'm not sick, I don't need surgery. If I happen to be working on software for the hospital, I will try it out to at least see the flows. So unless the model becomes so smart and so like attuned to, okay, this is the intent, because it just gave me an idea. If you ask the AI to make a change, it has access to the old version, to the old implementation, to the old code. So in theory, it could try out everything, verify all the different ways you can use the old one, and just compare to its new version to detect bugs, regressions, unintended consequences, and then see, okay, the only difference is the intended difference. And hopefully it understands our intent well enough, and also understands the intent of the old
usage.
software, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And even what I'm now thinking, this is kind of maybe a little bit on topic or on the side, is like you could connect large language model to the screen recordings and the usage of the software, and immediately, let's say, flag when a weird behavior happens, and immediately even code to correct for it. But okay, now we're maybe a couple levels too deep into the problem. One last question, maybe for the podcast, because you're on a holiday. Have you actually used the camera mode where you film something and you're interacting with ChatGPT to kind of talk to you about history, about give you facts, instead of constantly uploading pictures?
I haven't. I've used it once when I was curious about a particular building, or when I wanted to orient myself, but no, I don't use that. But it's a good, because as humans, when using software or when walking around the city, we constantly actually have this loop. We're unaware of it, of like picking things up that seems strange and unusual. So if you notice something is out of place or has changed or is unfamiliar, you'll pick that up. You'll mention it to your friend. You'll take a picture. For example, here we had a road sign that said only local access, so you cannot go here with your car. Under that, on the same sign, as part of the sign, it said except for customers of the pizzeria. And our destination was the pizzeria. I took a picture because
Okay.
I'm not used to seeing this. It's a very formal city sign, but
Okay. Well,
they make
must
an
be a really
exception for
good
the
pizzeria, I
pizzeria.
think.
Exactly. And so an AI might flag that, and a human might say like, wait, is this a real sign on it? I think it was, but maybe it would say, this seems like out of the ordinary, extraordinary. But if the AI is itself not super ordinary, then yeah, maybe it will never be able to tell.
Okay. Well, maybe my experience I could share as well with using the camera mode when I was in Paris is I often used it. I was just sitting or walking through the city, and then every time when I saw a building, I have the fast widget on my phone that immediately activated
Nice.
and I pointed and start talking to me. So it's amazing to see that I'm using it live, because before it was actually Google who said, oh, it's Google Maps, you'll be able to walk around and give you immediately facts about it, but it never really became, they never, how you say it, they never were able
Natural,
to
automatic.
naturally bring it to the audience or to to the customers of Google. And now OpenAI kind of were able to do it by patching up different things, because it's constantly taking pictures and sending it to an LLM, understanding what it sees, and then giving what it sees as well to an LLM, giving it information about about everything that it sees, and maybe the
That
context a
sounds
little bit that it
amazing.
sets.
Like having a Parisian in your pocket, basically. Like somebody that
Correct.
has been walking, like knows the city, has walked there for like hundreds of times, and is like, oh yeah, that's that building, of course. And the AI does that for you.
Yeah. The only question then is, well, I would maybe prefer to still have a real Parisian next to me, because he,
Pour
let's say,
Parisienne now.
or that, because he has real life experience, and he can, I don't know, feel the streets, can know how amazing that the restaurant is, and a large language model can give you just kind of recommendations based on what it read online, but not having experienced it. Okay.
Yeah, I call me on the day that the AI is excited about escargot or about the Moulin Rouge.
Okay. Well, I think maybe let's wrap it up here, or GPT-5. I think the conclusion from my side is that it's a step up. They've improved some speed, some accuracy, but based off some people thinking it's going to be something crazy revolutionary, I don't think that's the case yet. But it is still amazing to see that they're outbeating the metrics or the benchmarks, and keep pushing what is possible with a large language model of doing human tasks, let's say.
Totally.
Okay. Anything else you wanna add at the end?
No,
A
I'm on
little
vacation. Yeah, well, just on these models, I think most people, OpenAI knows that most people have only ever interacted with 4.0, which is the small
mhm,
model, and
mhm,
they're doing the Apple Play, the iPhone Play. Most people want and need an iPhone because it's the iPhone.
mhm,
Even though the processor inside of it is very good and the camera is very good, people are like, yeah, give me the iPhone. And ChatGPT is the ChatGPT. There's no for a lot of
mhm,
people, it's the only thing they will ever use, maybe. Just like
mhm.
their only search engine has been Google.
Well, maybe one fun fact, maybe Johnny Ive had something to do with this big upgrade, because he was part of Apple for so long, and could be that he brings a lot of good practices of Apple to OpenAI, to be continued.
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Unquestioned Podcast. We look forward to seeing you again, and see you guys on the next episode.